thank you everyone for joining for this hopefully a useful session for all of you. It's absolutely my privilege and delight to be in some way associated with my alma mater. I'm Indore, has been the institution who has made a man out of a boy, as I tell. Those 2 years were amazing, glorious, and we have learned so much from the institute, as well as particularly from the peer group who has been till date supporting all my endeavors. It has been a decently good journey. Happy with the way things have progressed, and I'm Indore has been one of the major contributor in this entire journey of whatever I've been able to do. Fortunately, because I come from a joint family background, I value people a lot, and I guess that's the reason why I was able to co-found multiple ventures in this domain of financial markets, and I have people from various backgrounds who are partner with me in these ventures. Now, today's topic is quite interesting, very close to my heart. It's talking about how to build your personal brand in social media, and why I feel that every entrepreneur will eventually have to be there in social media as a brand, and every social media brand owner individual will be forced to become an entrepreneur. So this is something which we will not be able to kind of avoid. It's a matter of time. All of us have to be there in social media in full form, whether you like it or not. I've always been an introvert, but definitely tried my best to change, and I feel very satisfied when I'm recording things in front of camera these days and trying to become an extrovert. So I have a presentation which I want to use to discuss few important things with all of you. I gave this presentation in one of the Thai events, and I will take some important slides from this presentation to talk about things which every entrepreneur should know. I want to start with this amazing dialogue from this famous movie, which talks about the relevance of kainat in everything what we does. अगर किसी भी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात लग जाती है आपके पीछे उसको सक्सेसफुल करने के लिए. This is my principle of life, and I've seen myself evolving as the kainat is also evolving. So we have to understand this in this modern world of communication convergence. The whole shape and form of kainat is changing every 3 years, 4 years. And if we are not adapting ourselves to the new change, to the new way things are happening, then we are obviously making ourselves part of a different club, which is more of a traditional and orthodox way of living, which is also correct. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just that people with more aspirations and who want to do new things in their life, they always want to adapt to the new way of doing things. So this is an important slide, which is again part of my philosophy in life. A very simple equation, but it speaks so much about what we can do in our life. This is the red line is the linear growth, which people who are in their early 40s and probably late 40s, they understand the relevance of linear growth, profitable business, and it should be done with a very clear-cut thought process of being an EBITDA positive, and everything should be picture perfect, as been taught in our corporate finance books traditionally. But then the world moved on, and there was emergence of blue businesses where, sure, EBITDA positive was always the target, but then at some point of time, you want your business to give you that extra growth, which we can call it a supernormal growth. So that blue line. And in today's world where there are startups and we all want to live that super hyper growth curve, which is the green one, which is the J curve, which is largely the term used for it. Now, if we have to transit, and that is a transition which I have done as an entrepreneur, from green to blue to, from red to blue to green, that is a transition which every entrepreneur wants to see, not just in the business, but also in terms of his personal growth. And I'll give you a classic case study of Zerodha. I think this is one organization, and Nitin is one entrepreneur whose photo should be there in front of our desk. I think all of us near 40s, we should definitely have a high respect for Zerodha, the way they have grown. Look at this. A sheer perseverance for 8 years, 9 years. And after that, emergence of that J curve. And that happened because they were there at the right time doing the right thing. And suddenly a breakout happened when demonetization happened. They were the first one ready with the KYC, and then who can forget COVID, the way it has given growth to that entire ecosystem. And this is what we all aspire, and this is what we as an organization in StockEdge is aspiring to do. The hard work of 7 or 8 years has gone, and now we want to get inside that J-curve growth, which we already are witnessing in our organization. So when we talk about the modern entrepreneurship, or for that matter, traditional entrepreneurship, and I want to spend some time here because it's important for us to realize the power of creating individual brand, because these three pillars, as the form and the shape of these pillars have changed. They are important for our structure, but the form has changed. So the vision, the survivalness bias, and the trust which we want to build for our product and services. So these are the three pillars which finally differentiates a successful entrepreneur from a not so successful one. So my talk in Thai was about creating that profitable cash flow positive business. And if we are looking at doing that B2C cash flow positive business, having an individual brand is quite essential. We can't just live with it and not do it. So the secret sauce which I discussed was, every business has a personality, right? And earlier, a brand of the business, because of a lot of years of perseverance, the brand used to talk about that personality. For example, Apple has a personality. For example, SDFC has a personality. Now, that personality should really come across now very loudly in lesser time. A brand used to take 10 years, 15 years to start giving that resemblance of this brand stands for this, right? But now we are living in a world where everything has to happen in 5 years. So how do you do that? There, I think the personality behind the brand has to come out and speak loudly about the brand. So either you appoint a personality like influencers to talk loud about you, you'll end up paying a lot of money to them, or you also become an influencer to a certain extent. Or let me just not use the word influencer. Let us start using the word thought leader. So if you are there in the market and if you have to create differentiation in the market as a service provider, then people have to start perceiving you to be a thought leader. And thought leader should be there everywhere, because people want you to answer a lot of questions which people can have at every stage of their industry participation. So opportunity, people, audience, and the product. These are the 4 things which we have studied during our, talking about the Kayanat. So what Kayanat does is it offers you opportunity, massive opportunity. And India is a classic case study right now where we have so much. Even a roadside chai wala can create such a big brand, MBA chai wala, because Praful is doing exactly what he's supposed to do, creating an organization around him. Or talk about any potential puchka wala who will come, a CA puchka wala. The guy is going to do big, because India as a consumption story is so massive. You just need one element of trust inside your brand, and that can come when you have person within that brand. I mean, Elon Musk is a classic case study, or Mr. Zuckerberg is a classic case study. Well, there is a disadvantage of doing that, because ultimately, if you do something wrong, then the entire organization can fall on you. But I think initially, at the initial part of the organization career, it's important to have a catalyst who will drive the brand, and then eventually you can have the company take over from that catalyst. So I'm going to share with you what I did and how I did, and what was the compulsion for me to do it. We are not one of those hyper VC funded startup, and the moment you don't have that money to spend for whatever reasons, or maybe it's my choice not to take that money in the initial stage of our business, because by the time you're thinking about the product, you're always figuring out that what is the right product which should be offered to the public in large. And you don't want VC to come in the initial stage and just talk about the growth, because product becomes more important for a person like me. Now, to create that ecosystem around you and to create that public image, or to have right people around you, you obviously need that very fast brand recall. So for a startup like us, or for any startup, it is so imperative for us to have an individual brand, because the moment there is an individual, the element of trust goes up so well. And trust is not just from a customer perspective, but from a perspective of people who work with you. I mean, they will always initially want to work with any person whom they believe that, oh, I want to be like this person. Oh, wow, he's there or she is there, or I'm getting comfort because I know that this person is working hard. So as a CEO of the company, you are more inward. But the moment you are there in the social media talking loudly about your company or about your product, even your team gets confidence that we can trust this guy. He's doing a great job for us. The customer point of view, I think from a startup perspective, I have seen that every new opportunity, there are change agents, okay? And we need to be very, very agile to adapt to the new change. And for that, we need to follow the change agents. For example, social media. Last 7 to 8 years, there is an upsurge of influencers. Someone must have initiated that process. And if you have not adopted it, you don't know the person. And most of the people, if you see on social media right now, be it Ankur Wariku or Pranjal or other people, uh, technically no one has innovated much. I mean, it's just that they have been there doing right thing at the right time, followed the right people who have been the change agent. So it is so important for us to identify the change agents, and based on the evolution of that change agent, you also adapt to the new way of dealing with the new change. So social media has definitely played such an important role in decreasing the CAC. I think for all the people who are particularly B2C, they will realize the importance of CAC. And as an organization, we have seen that our CAC has been so stable because we don't believe in giving too much money to Facebooks and Googles of the world. Sure, we have to give because our SEO advantage after a point of time will get flattened, and we will have to give money to them to remain on the top of the ranking. But as an organic content creator, if you are there in social media and people trust you and then trust your brand, then CAC becomes a very reasonable thing. For example, in our organization, our cost of acquiring a customer is 900 rupees and our lifetime value of that customer is 5,000. That means we are still at a 5 times of our cost, which is our contribution margin. So it's a good business to be in because your operating revenue out of a customer is already positive. All you need to do is just sell first thing at only 1,000 rupees ARPU, and you have already recovered the cost of acquiring the customer. Whereas if you see most of the people who spend a lot of money in acquiring users, their CAC would be on the higher side of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 bucks. So obviously their expectation LTV divided by CAC is higher, right? Whereas we work at a very low capacity. So that's why social media is important. And social media acts as the fantastic funnel. If you are there on social media and people trust you as a brand, then a lot of people want to get associated with your product. I'm not saying a substandard product will see retention. Obviously, your product has to be very good. And in fact, if our product is not good, then our communication to the audience will also become substandard because you will not get confidence about your product. So when you are making loud communication to people, obviously it will be very apparent because your expressions will speak a lot about a genuine confidence and a fake confidence. So your product has to be very good before you actually go into the market and start talking about your product. StockEdge we launched in 2016, and the whole social media initiative, which largely I was the one who was leading that, and then there was another partner, Vineet Patawari, who's also I'm Indore graduate. He used to take care of the business, and he's the CEO of the company. And the other partner, Vinay Pagadia, he used to take care of the tech. So because I was entrusted with the responsibility of social media, we were waiting for the product to become the right product before we go all in into the market and launch our multiple social media initiatives. I read a very, very interesting article way back in 2018, and that article talked about unfair advantage. Now, think about a VC funded business who is constantly getting money from VCs to grow. And that's the unfair advantage which they have. For a non-VC funded business who want to build business the way they want it to be, you still need that unfair advantage because competition is so fierce in India. Entry barriers are technically there's no entry barrier in India. You launch anything today, tomorrow you realize that 2 people have already launched it before you launch. So the entry barrier is such a big problem in India. So how do you create that unfair advantage? I think that's personal branding or being there on social media helps you to create that unfair advantage. And your unit economics will obviously work better if your CAC is less. So, the survival kit of our any entrepreneur in this new world is, we are evolving. So, as entrepreneur, we have seen the massive change. I come from an accounting background. I'm a chartered accountant first. I worked as a sales executive after my CA. That was the first step of change which I wanted to do inside me. As a chartered accountant, you don't know how to speak. You're a very introvert person. You're busy with your books of accounts. But that is not the life which I wanted to live. So I joined JM Financial Bombay in 2001 as a sales executive. I learned financial product sales, which gave me so much confidence about me. And then I got into trading in 2002, which I did very well, but I wanted to build business. And that's the opportunity I got to join a business school like I'm Indore. And from there on, I've always tried to do new things because I knew that every 4 years, 5 years, world is changing. And probably that time is now getting reduced. Maybe every 3 years now, world is changing. So if we are not adapting to the new change, I mean, we don't belong to that club, which is much more progressive in nature. So what's the unfair advantage I created? So let me show you a few things which I did. First thing first, what I did was, I was not a great content creator. And a facing camera was something which still I believe that how I done it, because it was a distant dream for me. But I thought that why can't I curate content? I may not be a content creator. Let me curate content. And the best way to curate content is to interview people. And I found an opportunity in India where not many people were covering emerging stars of financial market. CNBC was always covering the top guys, top 30 people, probably the same usual suspects. But then India is not those 30 top guys who will tell us what will happen in stock market. So I started identifying people who were not known in the market and started interviewing them. So one of my initial interviews was with this gentleman called Mitesh Patel, who is a trader based out of Baroda, and his interview has almost 2.7 million views. The advantage of doing this is that obviously you present a good content to the audience, and they like what you are doing and they start following you. At the same time, their followers will also see you and they will also start following you. So it's actually a multiplier impact in social media which works. So you scratch my back, I scratch your back, because both of us finally want that same follower to follow both of us. And that's where collaboration is important in social media. But these people whom I have interviewed in face-to-face, I've done almost 175 interviews with traders, investors, global players. So I recently went global, and face-to-face is now becoming global brand with interviews like people like Mark Minervini, Jack Schwager and other people. Why do they come to our platform? When we send them an email that, we have almost 100 million views in social media and we have interviewed 175, that is also something which is so exciting for them. US ke andar mein, if you do a YouTube video, you will not get more than 50,000 or lakh views. But in India, suddenly if your content is good, you can actually reach to 1 million views in a couple of months. So that excites US audience. So all of these foreign guys are coming into our platform, happy to lend their content to us. And it's a straightforward interaction, nothing rocket science. And the more these foreign guys are coming, even the Indian guys have started considering us to be a foreign platform, and even they want to come in our platform. So you can see the snowball effect. You just have to start somewhere. Yes, this initially 1 year is tough because it's very difficult to build an audience in first year. And you need to do a lot of right things to build the audience. Example, YouTube algorithm is extremely sophisticated. They need quality of content to be very superior. They want good video quality. In fact, their AI has gone into pixel level judgment. So if your content is not good, not just in terms of content, but the quality of output which you are producing, if that is not good, YouTube algorithm will not push you, because they are very particular that my learner or my viewer who is coming to my platform is giving me time, which is the currency. And I have to use this currency to the best advantage. Otherwise, my user will go to some other social media platform like TikTok or any other platform. So if you have to at all get that attention in social media, then we will have to create quality content in terms of post-production quality. So, this was the quality which I created earlier. And, this is the quality which I'm creating now. If you see the difference, you may see that, oh, it's a pretty much the same thing, Vivek, बहुत सारा difference नहीं है. But no, there is a difference because now the video, the camera quality is better, the sound quality is better. The kind of expert doing into the platform is better. Look at this frame now. It's much more focused, much more zoomed in. So everything matters a lot in social media. Whatever you do, it has to have, and trust me, no one knows what works because all these algorithms are so subjective. We don't know how it works, but you have to keep on trying. And if one thing works, you have to keep on improvising that thing and stay on the top with that improvisation. So this is first thing which I started in social media as recording face-to-face in the YouTube channel of Elearnmarkets. Then I found Twitter, and I think Twitter is one of the best things which has happened to the world. It is such a democratic platform, and if you learn how to take advantage of Twitter, you can actually take your business to an extremely different level. Obviously, LinkedIn is important because LinkedIn is the one which is core for business activity. But when I got into Twitter, now I have almost 400,000 followers in Twitter. And Twitter algorithm is so good. It identifies relevant people and it will keep on pushing that relevant people to the relevant audience. So the growth in Twitter can be much faster than the growth in YouTube. And this is all trial and error which we have done, we have realized. And a lot of my business revenue actually comes from all the indirect marketing push which I am doing in my platforms. Look at this video. This is in-house created video about the product which we have created, which is a mentorship program for a trader. The quality of the content and everything has to be in-house finally. So my camera team, my post-production team, sub in-house it because you need that complete control of your content quality within yourself rather than giving it to outside agencies. This is something which I recorded today. So whenever I'm recording something, I want to make an announcement. I want to create that excitement inside people. Ki, Arey yaar, maine ye record kiya, ye aane wala hai. And then you will see already people have started engaging with this by clicking like and share, by people commenting. So ab ye video Friday ko aayega. So that run up from today to Friday is so important. We will have to build that excitement so that the Friday, the moment video is launched, first 1 hour is so critical that you have to make sure that a lot of people see the video, a lot of people comment on the video. Our team will reply to that comment. We want many people to like because the algorithm of all these social media platforms give weightages to every activity which we are doing with around the content which we are creating. So content creation is probably only 20%, but 80% is actually a lot of ancillary activities we have to do around the content. Then I realized that creating a personal brand is equally important in YouTube beyond the company brand, because there is a lot of things which I can't communicate in my company brand, especially the opinions which I want to give about anything. So I created my personal YouTube channel, which has around 700 subscribers, and this has happened in last 2 years. Why this has grown? Again, there was a strategy. See, every action, there has to be a strategy. It cannot be random. I know some people creating amazing content where they're still lingering around 50,000 followers, but I have been able to achieve 7-8. Why? Because the strategy is simple thing. You want people to come back to you. You want people to subscribe to you. Either you keep on shouting, subscribe, 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 or your content should be natural enough for people to come back to you. So what I did is I started with a playlist of 50 video course on trading, and it's a free course. So I recorded 1, then I recorded 2, then I recorded 3. The moment this was made live, people knew that video number 4 is going to come, video number 5 is going to come. So they know that aane wala hai, so sir ko subscribe karke rakhte hain, because if I am subscribed, then only I will be able to get intimation that the next one is coming. Now this is my social capital now. 2 million views in my first video is my social capital, and because it has views, still a lot of new users are looking at this video. Even YouTube is promoting this. So this becomes like my big property online, which will keep on inviting people to join my my channel. So this 7 lakh subscriber will probably go to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, depending upon how much interesting content I'm creating. The other thing which works in social media, sorry, this is kind of looks like that I've started giving elective course on social media, but I thought this will be very interesting for you to know how to approach this, because it's a complex thing. Let me warn you, it's a complex thing. It may not work exactly the way you want it to work, but there are things like clickbaits works fantastically. So I recorded my video called Harshad Mehta Zinda Hai. It's such a lovely, and that happened after Harshad Mehta series came, and that was, I think, the first video I recorded, which was basically to get more audience, to start getting more audience. And that Harshad Mehta Zinda Hai, that terminology itself is so exciting, the title itself is so exciting that people started following me. That, oh, this is an interesting content behind that clickbait which I used. So the whole process of creating the social media presence and then subtly pushing people towards your product by giving them step-by-step guide of how to use your product. And at times in the interim, try to sell your product, but that has to be indirect. That cannot be very, very directly. Just say, for example, I'm doing this learning videos on StockEdge. So step-by-step guide on StockEdge. Now I already have 700,000 followers. So the propensity that the serious ones will look at these videos and start using StockEdge the way I want them to use it. And someday, because StockEdge is a freemium product, someday they will graduate to subscribe to my premium offerings which StockEdge has. So build a credibility in social media and then start talking about your product subtly and try to generate revenue for your business. It will take 4 to 5 years, but after 5 years, it will get into self-fulfilling prophecy where business will come irrespective of whether you are spending large money in marketing. Now, the small caveat. This is an exercise which is, this is an exercise which is very apt for people who believe in building organic businesses, okay? For people who are always short of time and who are in a hurry to create valuation, this may not be a great exercise because this also involves a lot of your time, energy, bandwidth, and then a different set of people to manage. So if you are VC funded or if you want to go into that path, it's better to pay money to influencers, pay them 5 lakh, pay them 10 lakh, get into a long-term arrangement with them for a month or for a quarter and let them promote your product because that is the faster path. We have taken this path because we thought that it will help us to build a much richer and long-term sustainable business, which has worked fantastically for us. Now, as an organization, we are prepared to grow much faster. It has taken us time, like Zerodha took a lot of time to reach where it reached and then suddenly fruit. Similarly, for us also, I think we have reached that zone where we will be able to grow faster than what we think. Okay, when we talk about social media, always remember glamour sells, always. And there are some topics where there is always a stickiness. For example, if you talk about health, you have to talk about health. You have to show people that you are a health conscious person. And people always want to get attached with people who are by and far a bit good looking. They should be health conscious. They should talk sense. And Hindi is such an important language in our country. So if you want to cater to an audience which is Hindi speaking, your Hindi has to be appropriate so that you are reaching to that exact audience, because YouTube finally knows what content you are creating and it will push your content, or for that matter, Twitter or Instagram or any platform. They know exactly what you're creating and for whom, and they will make sure that they promote your content to the right person. I have not talked about LinkedIn. I think many people are there on LinkedIn and they understand the LinkedIn works in a very different algorithm. There, I think it's more about highlighting the capability of your organization, your ability to manage team, talking about things which are more organizational level. So that is more text-based. Video-based, I don't think so LinkedIn has picked up so much, because whatever video I post, I don't get much views in LinkedIn. But yes, text-based content, thread, these are the things which are important if you want to grow in LinkedIn. There is a person, Ankur Wariku, we may We may like him, we may hate him, whatever, but he is a classic case study of building a personal brand in social media. And now whatever Ankur will do, that will flourish. It's just that first 2-3 years, and probably he did the right thing at the right time by launching himself all in during the COVID time. And whoever did that had huge advantage. But I think it's not something which I would say opportunity loss. This is just the starting of this whole game of social media. So either you play it well, or if you don't want to play it, better you get a lot of money to give it to people who know how to play it well. I would love to, take queries, have more, one-to-one discussion. So, Ganesh sir, is it okay that we open it up for more queries and discussion?
Yes, I think that would be better. In case people have questions, we can open it up for discussion now.
Hello, Professor Ganesh.
Hello, Vikash. How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, Vikas.
Hi, Vivek.
Vikas and Vivek, you are both in the same boat, actually.
No, in fact, I got to learn something from Vivek because he has those millions of views and million followers. I'm still at a very nascent stage. So good points, actually. And Vivek, a lot of these things, obviously, you know them inherently, but it's somebody like you comes on the screen and again reminds you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Vikash, for these kind words.
And you speak really well. एकदम अंदर से आवाज आती है, इमोशंस अच्छे आते हैं बात करते समय.
So, I think over a period of time, Vikash, even you will acknowledge this, that once you start curating content for a relevant audience, वो feeling आ जाती है. I don't know, scientifically, I've never been able to explain this to people. People do ask me, specifically my school friends, and I was, people say that there are front benchers and back benchers. I was a no bencher. People don't know whether I existed in school. मैं बात ही नहीं करता था. So my school friend are in state of awe. यार इतना कैसे चट कर लेता तुम? But it does come when you know that you have to add certain value to that set of audience.
Okay. I will share my experience in the online thing. So I was doing a course for the Devi University, their EMRC, it is called as EMRC division. So first time I did offline content, the asynchronous content. The first day I faced camera, it was horrible because I'm used to teaching in a classroom where there are bodies out there. Here it's a camera and some people behind that, doing something. So it was so difficult for me. I never realized I'm such a pathetic person in front of camera. That day I realized how difficult it is. The life of all these film actors. Life is so difficult. They do it day in and day out, and 365 days. So it's terrible experience. But I think after a couple of sessions, I was okay. Then it was much better.
Yeah. So I think video is, from a social media perspective, has happened in the last 4 to 5 years. When social media was born, it was around text. Talk about Facebook or Orkut of the world. Till today, I think text has more power. Video, you may have more followership, but communicating your ideas through text is always more. That's why LinkedIn, I think, is the most powerful out of all these. I mean, Instagram, I think you can get a lot of glamorous audience in Instagram, but from a business perspective, it doesn't add too much value. I don't know, except until as I want to sell some jazzy stuff, some glamorous stuff. For an e-commerce company, Instagram is important. But for a person like us who are selling a serious product, StockEdge is not a glamour, it's a boring product. So Instagram is the worst social media platform. LinkedIn and Twitter. These are two great platforms for us. And YouTube is growing. YouTube is, because it is spread to Bharat so fast, then if I have to reach to that audience, but you need to speak a regional language. You need to speak Hindi. English in YouTube is very tough to build.
So Vivek, I had a question. So I was kind of looking out for a person. I'm expanding my team, looking to focus more on social media. So I've been more on LinkedIn only over the last 2 years. So you mentioned about Twitter. I have not been on Twitter. So when you started off, not currently, but when you started off, did you offload this to an agency or you hired your own people to manage your social media accounts?
So when I started on my own first. So
Obviously.
every platform was done by me. Processes were set by me, and we have team inside who is managing it. And there is one platform which I'm doing it on my own, that's Twitter, because I just love that platform. उसके बाद का जितना भी मेरा handles है LinkedIn or YouTube, there are team members who are managing it, and you just need maybe 4-5 team members. Every social media handle, after it grows to a size, you will need one person to manage, or same person can manage two. And video recording is now such a commoditized thing. Just need in fact, I gave an interview in Z Business yesterday. I went to Delhi, and the camera guy was recording using iPhone. And I was like, in the state of war, that where is the DSL? Which world you are living in? Abhi iPhone se hum log record karte hain, and that video will go on TV. Forget about DSL. So camera or video quality has gone up so much, so it has commoditized. So even your kids can record it for you. And post-production, maybe a very reasonable cost guy. And it's so easy to upload. All these social media platforms have made the whole entire process of uploading content so seamless that you actually don't need consultants. For SEO, yes, you may need what should be the right keyword, what should be the right title, what should be the clickbait. But I think you need more of friends who can help you rather than consultants.
So Vivek, I think there is something in the chat box if you want to address that.
Okay, is text-based influencing effective any longer with shorter span of attention of customers? Well, it depends upon who your customer is. If you have a customer who is more entertainment-oriented and they are more excited with exciting content, then video is definitely something which is important. If you have a customer who's there on Twitter, then your opinions, your short tweet is more relevant, and maybe thread is more relevant because that audience knows how to read those threads. And if your customer is there on LinkedIn, I think Vikash is a LinkedIn expert, so he can vouch for that. That if your customer is there, then LinkedIn is so B2B. I think LinkedIn text still works, but if you're a B2C platform, then the world has moved to video, and that to short form videos like reels and shorts and all these things. Any suggestions about tool platform for video production and posting on YouTube, Twitter? Well, I am using Adobe Photoshop. My team uses that. It's a pretty exhaustive suite. So you can use that, but I don't know the cheaper options. It's the entire suite is quite expensive. I think yearly we pay around ₹1 lakh for that platform, because we are creating next level video content now. When we started, obviously we had very different software. I don't want to mention this here, but I'm sure there are online platforms which can be used. I'm not sure about Urvil. I don't know the exact, but Adobe Photoshop is very good. Adobe Suite actually. Okay, have you faced any security or credit issue or criticism during a journey because social media is getting more toxic these days? All the time. All the time. Criticism is there all the time. In fact, I just tweeted a couple of days ago that market created a man out of a boy, and Twitter created a wiser man out of a man. So much criticism, and that you become that thick-skinned guy. ठीक है, बोल दो जो बोलना है. So it has actually helped me to face a lot of disappointments and uncomfortable questions. So criticism will be there, sir. And in normal life, we do face criticism, except that people will speak behind your back. Social media, people have right to just speak it on your face. So I would say 10% of my post will be criticism. And it can be weirdest of weirdest, like that, why your hairstyle is not good today? Did you sleep and just woke up? And I mean, very nonsensical actually. So social media will be toxic, sir. You have to live with that reality and not take it personally. I mean, for first 2 years, it was emotionally very challenging. My wife used to tell me that you don't get influenced so much by me these days, but you get influenced by some battering someone is doing in social media. But, I mean, that's how it is. Thank you. Okay, I have a learner who says that learn to trade and face-to-face series are amazing. So thank you. These are the things which you need to remain motivated and record one more video.
But yeah, I've been a big fan of your videos, right? And I'm a 2016 pass out, working with Deloitte as of now as a manager. But yeah, amazing content. So I was looking for something that would help me. As consultants, we have very less time, right? So I just wanted something on the weekend that would help me. That series as such, that 50 video series is really motivating. I think just how to approach it and all. See, we as folks just need a nudge, right, on the correct path. And this series, I believe, provides that. And when you hear it from the other participants the face-to-face series, right, the English as well as the Hindi part, that motivates you to show and the kind of questions. And I think someone did mention that it comes in from you within, right? The kind of questions that you ask, etc., right? Those are such basic, such nicely put, right? That those are questions that we intend to ask. So that is something that Harsha Bhogle also does in the commentary box, right? So you can literally draw parallel to that. So that is pretty amazing, is what I would say. But yeah, a big fan with respect to the content, at least, and the journey. I've been through most of from start, so I think big fan of that.
Thank you. So see the power of creating consistent content. Friday 5 p.m. in stock market is booked for me. People, if I don't release the video by 5:05, people will start posting on social media that 5 baje video क्यों नहीं आया अब तक. And that is the conscious call which we did कि यार Friday 5 बजे एकदम block कर दो अपना, क्योंकि उसी time पे once you start releasing a video at a particular time, and people start missing you during that time. Plus, a series, relevance of series, that face-to-face series, learn to trade series. When you create a repository of content, people will remember you. People may not remember you for a particular video. वो बहुत ही लकी होता है कोई कि वो भुवन बाम ने ये बनाया था वीडियो, दुनिया उसको याद करती है because or that guy who recreated musics, because of that one music he became so famous. That's like very lucky. Generally, you should have a series of learning or value-added content which should make people remember you for a top-of-the-mind recall.
Hi Vivek, this is Vikas from 2007 batch.
How are you?
I am doing fine, great यार. मुझे thanks बोला था sincerely क्योंकि face to face में काफी देखता हूँ. Especially I wanted to take the mention कि face to face के लिए बात कर रहा था. Say for example, I have been trading for say 15-20 years. लेकिन लास्ट 12-13 साल में ऐसा बंदा एक भी वीडियो, एक भी ट्रेडर इंटरव्यू, स्पेशली इंडियनाइज वर्जन ऑफ जो ट्रेडर्स है वो कहीं पे भी नहीं आता है. मतलब आई विल से दैट जो टीवी मीडिया है वो सब काफी लैग कर रही है पीछे में एक जेन्युइन जनरल कंटेंट, मतलब एक अच्छा कंटेंट बनाने के लिए. दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज प्योर अच्छा डेडिकेटेड कंटेंट फॉर द ट्रेडर्स स्पेशली, जिसमें हमें इतने लोगों का व्यू पॉइंट्स एंड एवरीथिंग जानने को मिलता है. टीवी पे जो ज्यादा होता है इट इज प्योरली उस दिन आया खत्म हो गया, मैटर ओवर. बट दिस इज समथिंग इवन इफ यू वॉच इट आफ्टर सम इयर्स और मे बी ट्वाइस थ्राइस, आपको हर चीज याद रहती है. और वो काफी बहुत अच्छे आपके स्पीकर्स भी हैं, ओपनली आके आइडियाज शेयर करते हैं, तो ये सारी चीजें सुनने को काफी अच्छा लगता है. थैंक यू सो मच. या
Thank you, Vikash. Yeah. So see, there is a strategy there also, which Vikash communicated, that you should develop a content which should have a longer shelf life. अगर आप आज ही के लिए सिर्फ content बना रहे हैं, तो फिर आपको रोज बनाना. Because either you make one content a week, but it should be something which should stay forever, or you make content every day, or if not every day, at least 2 times or 3 times a day, because then you will get a different set of audience attention. So, but I'm talking from an entrepreneur perspective that, every feedback which you are giving to me, it's actually a strategy from my side, that I want this audience to come to me because this is the action needed from my side. Do we have more questions or?
I have one, Vivek. So when you started off, so essentially most of the folks on this call would be in corporate jobs, right? And if they want to start something on social media, I think there's always a question on how does that affect this may be a question that you may be able to help with, but how does that affect your job life in terms of what is allowed, what is not allowed, what draws parallel? I'm not sure if you had a situation earlier on in your time when you were at a corporate job, right? And you had to decide between what can be posted, what would sort of coincide with your work, etc. So if you could help with that thought process on how you went about it, or it was essentially right out of B school, you were on that entrepreneur journey and there was no constraint as such. So if you could, and if you have some knowledge on that, if you could help with that, that would be very helpful.
Sure, I'll give you a case study also. Regarding me, I worked in JM Financial in Bombay in 2005. This is immediately after my MBA. And I left the job in January 2006. So I have not been able to kind of stay in job for a longer time. And social media, I don't think so was there during that time. I think probably Orkut was there. So this sochi nahi thi social media ke baare. But I'll give you a case study of one of my good friend who is the head of currency. Now, organization, I mean, they are also investor in one of our companies, so I can talk about that. The organization is very conservative, extremely compliance oriented. वहां पर किसी को भी कुछ अलग सोच के करना है, तो there are layers of approval required and they are very particular about their brand image. तो वहां का कोई भी बंदा कुछ भी जाके सोशल मीडिया पे नहीं बोल सकता. There has to be proper. Now, head of currency, I know this is between us only. The head of currency was always saying that, Vivek, how do I define my thought leadership in this domain? If I'm not there in social media and I can see XYZ there in social media, तो मैं कितने लोगों तक पहुंच पाऊंगा, मैं कितने लोगों को बोल दूंगा ऑफलाइन कि देखो मैं अथॉरिटी हूं, तो मुझे सोशल मीडिया में जाना ही पड़ेगा, right? He was facing a lot of resistances, but then even the group like realized that we can't be away from it, so they created framework for their employees कि आप ये कर सकते हो, ये नहीं कर सकते. तो 100% आपके HR का कोई ना कोई फ्रेमवर्क होगा कि this is allowed, this is not allowed, and if it is not there, you please rethink, because any company who doesn't have a social media framework for their employees is not a progressive company. You really think, is this a company you want to remain with? Again, between you and me only, कि आप सोचो कि अगर ये सोशल मीडिया को अडॉप्ट नहीं कर रखी है, अगर उसको अपने एम्प्लॉइज के लिए रिस्ट्रिक्शंस डाल रखे हैं कि तुम ये पोस्ट कर सकते हो, तुम नहीं कर सकते हो, ये तुम नहीं कर सकते हो, तो प्रोग्रेसिव कंपनी नहीं है.
Understood.
So I think as an individual, being there on Twitter and LinkedIn is it's a non-negotiable. आप कुछ नहीं कर, आपको करना ही पड़ेगा. If you are not there, you are out of this game. YouTube and Instagram वगैरह फिर भी, unless you want to build a business later and create a profile for yourself, you probably don't want to be there because वो audience ही अलग है जो कोई कोई माल खरीदने के लिए आए. But Twitter and LinkedIn will create your identity. Now the question comes कि हम post क्या करें? Think about it. No, आज Twitter पे क्या चलता है? आप या तो लोगों को गालियां दे दो, या आप अपना ओपिनियन डालते रहो which no one cares, या आप threads बनाओ, knowledgeable threads बनाओ. If you closely track Twitter and serious people who are creating good content, you see the kind of content. एक बंदा है जो बहुत सिंपल काम करता है, वो एक्सेल का शॉर्टकट्स थ्रेड के रूप में डालता है, और वो करते करते बंदे का 10,000 फॉलोअर है. With 10,000 followers, you have reached the milestone, and whoever is the next one, the person will start taking you seriously. यार इसका 10,000 फॉलोअर है यार, कुछ तो बंदा ढंगी का अगर वो आ जाएगा. तो ये स्नोबॉल इफेक्ट है सोशल मीडिया का. First 10,000 followers will take time, but उसके बाद में it will work.
Sure,
so,
thanks.
पॉलिसी HR बताएगा, और अगर आपका HR नहीं बता रहा तो उसको बोलिए भैया चेंज करो पॉलिसी, किस दुनिया में रह रहे हैं.
Sure, thanks, Vivek.
And it is so advantageous now. Which is active on social media, उसका benefit company को मिल रहा है.
Thank you so much. I think it was a pretty good talk, and you also illustrated from your own experiences how you have been able to develop that brand for your business. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words and invitation. I'm always available. Anytime, anywhere you feel I'm valuable to our institute, always available.
Thank you.